if there's a team that is one of the most fascinating to see how they behave and what happens between now and March 21st, it might be the Dallas Stars, because it's, I don't know. I think they're coming off a loss to Arizona, and you're like, okay, well, that's not good. But lots of nights recently, and Jake Ottinger I think he was the third star of the week, and he's the real deal. Maybe ahead of schedule, maybe, at the start of the season when they had 4 NHL goalies on the ice at times, you wondered where Jake Ottinger fit in all this, but where he fits is he's the number one guy. And if they're going to make the playoffs, it's going to be because of Jake Ottinger. But they also, Jim Nill, the GM, has a lot of balls in the air. He's got Joe Pavelski on an expiring contract. He's got John Klingberg, who we've talked about lots here. What do what's your gut tell you? Buyer, seller? Are they a playoff team? Are they not?
They're the most intriguing team in the NHL.
Yeah.
Because if we've seen the Stars go on runs this year, I think they had an 8-game winning streak at one point, but then they'll go lose 7. Like they've been all over the map. And I still think they have a chance.
Yeah.
Like I can't count them out. Like I like them in Winnipeg. Like Winnipeg, I don't think has a chance really. But Dallas, I still could see a way that they make it in. I just don't think that they're built to really contend deep. And here's the thing. I know that nobody wants to hear that. The owner's never going to want to hear that. If we make playoffs, we have to win the whole thing.
Yeah.
But you got to look out for the greater good of your franchise if you're Jim Nill here. And he's got some tough decisions to make. I know that they're likely going to wait until closer to the deadline to see if they're a team that's going to buy or sell. I'd be afraid if you do that, you're not going to do anything yet again. And they have all their draft picks in 2022. They have all their draft picks in 2023. But Dallas has 3 first-round picks right now in the American Hockey League that none of them really look like sure bets. Okay. Tufte, Dellandrea, like they may make it. They may be big pieces, but they don't know. They need to restock their cupboards is what I'm getting at here, Scott. Yeah. And I think that the way Jake Ottinger's played he is on the season 15-6.
Yeah.
And his partner, Braden Holtby's 9-10-1. And Ottinger's numbers just keep going. Like he just keeps getting better and better. He knocked off the Colorado Avalanche, 46 saves against that club.
Yeah.
Shuts out his boyhood idol, Marc-Andre Fleury, in Chicago, stops all 5 in a shootout, and gets a stick from his idol signed to him in one night. Tell me Ottinger's not riding the wave right now. And that's my point. Braden Holtby, I think, is expendable.
Yeah.
I think if you're Jim Nill and you've got Anton Hudobin stashed away, I think you have to look to move Holtby, given the number of teams out there that are looking for that piece of the puzzle. I think you move him. And I think that you have to listen no matter where you are in the standings on Klingberg, because he's that would be a mega haul for a guaranteed first round pick.
Yep.
Probably whatever else you want to go along with that. That'd be hard to pass up because Klingberg's gone at the end of this year, no matter what, in my eyes.
Yeah.
I can't see him returning. So you'd have to listen to that. The one part that I think, and like Alexander Radulov, if you can find somebody to take him, he's got a 15 team no trade list, but you move him out. The one person I think that shouldn't be traded is Pavelski. I think you've got to find a way to re-sign him. I know he likes it there. He'd probably like to stay. I'd take that chip off the board because I love that fit. I love how he plays with Hinson Robertson.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. There are 3 points out with a game in hand of the second wild card spot. And I'm with you. Like, are they, there's too much yin and yang to their game to really be a contender, I think. But here's the thing for me. They're one of those teams that, 2 years ago, they're in a Stanley Cup final. If they get in the playoffs, let's say you're the second wildcard team, so you play Colorado in the first round. I don't know. I think they give Colorado all they can handle, assuming that you're not trading Klingberg, assuming you're not trading Pavelski, and I don't know, maybe you add. It's so hard for a team. Listen, the Stars, like a lot of teams, have been through, the COVID seasons have been very difficult for the Dallas Stars. It's been difficult for Tom Gillardi, the owner. He's in the hospitality business. It's been hard, and no one wants to win more than Tom Gillardi. He's
absolutely
a great owner. He wants to win. So
yep.
I don't know. And man, it's tough. And I know I saw Jim Nill, the players will dictate what happens. But I don't know, man. It's going to be so fluid in the West. You won't know unless you lose 8 in a row. You're not going to know by March 21st. And then it becomes, are you taking a leap of faith? The year that I was there and the year I met you, Jim Nill didn't do anything at the trade deadline. I know that was something that didn't sit well with Ken Hitchcock, who was the coach. And ultimately Ben Bishop got hurt and they missed the playoffs. So, if you make a move, does it change it? It's a mug's game, but you gotta decide, and you got to make some hard decisions when you won't probably know really whether you're a legitimate playoff team or not. It's hard.
Yeah, I agree. And that's where I think it makes it difficult, but I think at some point you just have to make a decision and go with it. And I'm always reminded about when the Blues traded Paul Stastny towards right in advance of the deadline.
Yep.
I believe that was 2018, I want to say. And they moved him to the Winnipeg Jets. And Doug Armstrong said, this is the right decision for our team, even though they were moving a piece out at that time. And to me, that's kind of like the Klingberg deal, if there were one to be made, to me, if it's worth it. So I'd like to see Jim Nill make some swings here, either way. Yeah. And it's hard because, you can't think of a more respected GM around the league. He always wants to do what's right by the player.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a tough one for him, I think, this year to make those decisions.